Nation, what's going on, guys? Well, it has finally been announced and it is now official. The battle for supremacy. Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. Now, if you guys have been following my channel, you know I've been telling you guys for the last 2 months, the fight has been agreed upon for quite some time already. It's just recently been announced that Andre Ward will face Sergey Kovalev November 19th. You know, it's actually kind of ironic because I did a DBN polls video on what is the most significant fight of the year. What is the biggest fight of the year? And to no one's surprise, basically, everyone picked, or at least 74% of the voters, they picked Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. So with that being said, let's talk about this fight. Now, even though Andre Ward, he had already been stamped as number 2 pound for pound, the best fighter in the world, next to Floyd Mayweather when Floyd Mayweather was still active and fighting. Now, the fact that Andre Ward is fighting against Sergey Kovalev this year, the winner of this fight no doubt becomes the undisputed pound for pound king in the world. You know how it was when Mayweather was still considered pound for pound the best fighter in the world? Well, when Mayweather was holding that position, that is what you truly call the undisputed pound for pound best fighter in the world. Because Mayweather, he made it so clear that even the most biased reporters and websites that really hated Floyd Mayweather's guts, they had no choice. They had to declare Floyd Mayweather as pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Why? Because he kept proving it over and over again. And it was no one else in the sport that was dominating that level of competition without taking an L. And this is why the winner of this fight, Ward versus Kovalev, will be perceived the same way Floyd Mayweather was. Now, when it comes to Andre Ward, I want to say this. Andre Ward is the true definition of a fighter who practices what he preaches. Because Andre Ward was calling out Gennady Golovkin. Now, as you guys know the history of Gennady Golovkin, long time ago, before he was talking about unifying titles at the middleweight division, Golovkin was trying to fight fighters at 168. He was pursuing fights with Julio Cesar Chavez, who's much bigger than Andre Ward, and Carl Froch. In fact, his trainer said that they are willing to fight anyone from 154 to 175, right? I talked to Abel Sanchez. He told me this guy, Gennady Golovkin, he's knocking out cruiserweights in sparring, so eventually he's going to have to move up to 175. With that being said, this is the reason why Andre Ward called out Golovkin in the first place, because Golovkin was calling out fighters like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. When Andre Ward called out Golovkin, now the perception is Gennady Golovkin, he has to move up in weight, or maybe the reality is Golovkin, he would have to move up in weight and he would have to fight the best fighter in that division at a higher weight class. This is what Andre Ward was basically challenging Gennady Golovkin to do. Once again, if you're going to move up and you're going to fight Carl Froch, a guy that Andre Ward already beat, why wouldn't you move up to fight Andre Ward? And you know what? And I had no problem with Golovkin fighting against Carl Froch. But if he's going to fight Carl Froch, why wouldn't Andre Ward be somewhere on a tournament bracket? Because he wasn't. It wasn't an arrangement like Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev's. Because Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, they agreed to fight against each other at the beginning of the year. In fact, if you really think about it, what Ward and Kovalev did was very analogous to what the NBA and the NFL does. They have a structure. They have it all set up. Basically, they tell you, listen, your goal is to make it to the playoffs. And once you advance through the playoffs, you go to the finals or you go to the Super Bowl, okay? This is the type of arrangement and agreement that Kovalev and Andre Ward had. And this is the same thing Gennady Golovkin could have done if he really wanted to be the best in the world. He could have signed a contract to fight Andre Ward at the end of the year. He could have fought Julio Cesar Chavez, then Carl Froch, and then fought Andre Ward at the end of the year, because once again, this is exactly what Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev did. They agreed to fight each other in a 3-fight deal. According to Andre Ward's trainer, Virgil Hunter, HBO, they asked Andre Ward to move up to a higher weight class and fight Sergey Kovalev so that HBO can protect Gennady Golovkin, and that could also help them try to build Sergey Kovalev as the next Golovkin or the next star on HBO. According to Virgil Hunter, this was the perception. So Andre Ward actually complied, and he moved up to 175, and now he's going up against the best fighter in the division, and pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world. So Andre Ward, he was willing to do, or no, I shouldn't say he was willing to do, because he did it. Andre Ward, he did what he was asking Gennady Golovkin to do. The exact same thing. Apples and apples, right? Golovkin had an opportunity to move up to 168 and fight the best fighter at 168. He declined. He turned it down. Andre Ward, on the other hand, he did just that. So he practices what he preaches. But it wasn't only HBO that begged and encouraged Andre Ward to leave Gennady Golovkin alone and move up to a higher weight class. It was also the majority of the casual fans in the sport of boxing, because unfortunately, the majority of boxing fans, they do happen to be casuals, believe it or not. So the majority of decafs, they were also begging that Andre Ward, he leave Golovkin alone. These were the comments that were being posted every day online, on my videos when Andre Ward first started calling out Triple G. This is what a lot of Golovkin fans on the streets were telling me. The same thing that they were saying in the comment section. Oh man, you know, Golovkin should move up, or Andre Ward, he should move up and he should fight Sergey Kovalev. That's what they kept saying, right? So why is it once Andre Ward does exactly what these decafs ask him to do, why is it now these people who posted all these comments, now that Andre Ward is facing Sergey Kovalev, now these fans are nowhere to be found? You guys notice that? When it comes to fighters on a coincidental list, it is the same shit. It's just a different name and a different date. This is the exact same thing that happened to Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather was being accused of ducking and being afraid of Manny Pacquiao, and I'm talking about only days before he signed the contract, fans were still accusing Floyd Mayweather of ducking Manny Pacquiao. Soon as Floyd Mayweather signs the contract and agrees to fight Manny Pacquiao, all of those fans that was calling Floyd a coward, they had nothing to say once the fight was actually made. Same thing happened to Terrence Crawford. Fans said to Terrence Crawford he was ducking Victor Postal. Soon as Terrence Crawford agrees to fight Victor Postal, those fans are nowhere to be found that was calling Terrence Crawford a ducker. They did the same thing with Deontay Wilder against Alexander Povetkin. They did the same thing with Andre Ward when it comes to Sergey Kovalev. So let me get this straight. These fighters actually give you guys what you ask for, right? And then the fighters that you actually like more, like Canelo Alvarez or Golovkin, they don't give the fans what we're asking for, and you still have more respect for them than you do for the fighters that are actually going out there to fight the best? How does that make any sense? It doesn't make any damn sense. And we know why it doesn't make any sense, because we know what time it is. So you have all of these all-American fighters this year. Terrence Crawford, Andre Ward, Deontay Wilder. One more, I'm missing another one. Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. Then you have UK fighters like Kell Brook, Anthony Joshua. All of those fighters that I just mentioned, they have all been willing to step up in competition and fight against the best. And do you guys know none of those fighters that I just mentioned receive the same level of respect that a Gennady Golovkin or a Canelo Alvarez gets? And these fighters are putting more on the line than those fighters are, at least right now, at least in 2016. How is that possible? Rhetorical question. I'll be talking a lot more about this. You know, I'm really excited that we have, once again, all of these competitive fights. You know, for any fan that said, oh, you know, boxing today is only about money, and they're saying that just because what Canelo Alvarez is doing, you need to take a look at what all these other fighters are doing. Because we have a lot of great matches, okay? We have a lot of great fights. We have a lot of significant fights that is going to change the boxing landscape. Thanks to fighters like Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward, we as boxing fans will no longer have to guess or just pick whoever we want to pick when it comes to who the best fighter in the world is. After Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev fight, we will all know who is universally recognized as the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo!